Hawaii Island police are asking the public's help in locating an all-terrain vehicle stolen from a Mountain View coffee plantation on June 10th.
It felt like we had just been violated.
Those who work at the Hilo coffee mill are still shaken from the brazen burglary that was caught on surveillance video.
And the business was raped, basically. And it just feels awful that, someone would target us, with the humble beginnings that we've had, with the types of things that we try to do for our community, and then to have this happen. So it feels awful. It really does.
We spoke to co-owner Jeanette Baisa about the incident.
And on June 10th, when my staff arrived at work, we found out that something was a bit amiss. When my employees came to work, the gate was not locked in its usual position. In fact, it looked like it had been rammed through, driven through, because the two gates were still locked, but one of the gates had actually been forced out of the post. So it was like, oh dear, something's wrong here. So I was called. This was at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was called immediately, and I said to my employee, don't go anywhere, stay right where you are, I'm gonna call the police, which I did. So, but they didn't show up for almost 2 hours after the phone call. Once we did an assessment of the premises to try to determine if there was anything we could readily see what we needed to keep clear, leave untouched, as you would, then we went to the video surveillance that we had. We believe that they hopped the fence to gain access to the property, but they did enter our warehouse area from the backside and went straight for a couple of pieces of farm equipment. So that building that the solar structure is attached to, that's our warehouse. And that's where we keep the bulk of our equipment, so we can keep it locked up and secure. So they jimmied the door lock to get in. So one was our zero-turn mower, which is a Hustler Fast Track. Same quality and type of mower that you use, that the county uses, so it's a very industrial type of mower. And then once they honed in on that, they actually moved it out of its parking space in the warehouse and to the door. They then entered our van, backed our van up to the door and tried to load the mower into the van. It looked like they tried to use pieces of 2x6 as ramps, but the mower is quite heavy and they couldn't push it up in there. So they instead tied the front of the mower to the back bumper of the van and drove off with it in a tow position. Later, after we found the van was recovered after all of this, and we found that the driver's side seatbelt had been cut. So we're only assuming that they had to cut the seatbelt strap to use it as a tow strap for the mower. So they drove off with the mower, and that's when they busted through our front gate. And then they come back with the van without the mower attached to the back, and then they do the same thing with the ATV. And then one of the persons actually was riding the ATV as they towed it out. We think that they may have come in somewhere in this area here, which is, right off the highway here. We can't tell for sure because sometimes, lights are shining with cars going by. So we weren't really positive that that's where they came in. Have not gotten any further calls from anybody seeing things. Of course, we posted a few things out on Facebook and have gotten some very nice comments from the community, of course, on how terrible they feel that this happened to us, and we so appreciate all those comments and concern for everybody. So I know we have people out there looking out for us, so that's a good thing. But nothing that from the police or nothing from anybody else since then, since yesterday. that has actually said that they may recognize either one or both of the people that were shown. We are definitely an ag operation, and this is considered agricultural theft. So I don't know how that works out in the law books, but it carries some pretty stiff penalties from what I understand.
Police ask anyone with any information about this burglary or suspicious party selling a used ATV matching this description to call the police department's non-emergency line at 935-3311.
There seems to be, from what I can, the notices that I get in email, Nixle from the police department, that kind of thing, there's a lot of this stuff happening right now. And, how do you save yourself from that? How do you prevent it? Besides having somebody here all the time, and that's an excess expense that, many places, certainly us included, can't really afford. And I think that's maybe what the perpetrators or suspects or whatever you want to call them are kind of counting on, right? That nobody's going to be here, nobody's going to watch them, nobody's going to try to threaten them, when they are here. For them to be brazen enough to come back even, to get that second piece, the ATV, that just, that takes chutzpah, man.